Thunder for the top seed in the West. 10 straight, the longest winning streak since they won 13 in a row a decade ago, on the way to a franchise record 67 victories. Kawhi Leonard was the leading scorer for the Spurs squad. Also had Tim Duncan in the final of his legendary 19 seasons in the league. The game we followed on Wednesday evening, the Celtics on a back-to-back at altitude. That's not easy. Jason Tatum traveling with the team on their 4-game road trip. Top two teams in terms of offensive efficiency. Keep that in mind as we watch that. I mean, where is it on the board?
As Scott Van Pelt would say, sublime.
Or lucky. We'll take it. Colorado native Derek White cooking in the first half. 18 in the second quarter. Tied for the most in any quarter in his career. Close game at the half. In the second half, Nuggets leading by 5. Jokic loses it, and then it actually works out better because he steps back, hits the 3. The lead is 8. Jaylen Brown with a turnover. KJ Simpson. 11-0 run to end the third quarter. Double-digit lead heading into the last quarter. Off the miss. Tim Hardaway Jr. with the 3. It's a 14-point lead. And Jokic, as we've reached the portion of the season where it looks like the bear has mauled his triceps, he fights through those wounds, and Jokic goes for 30, a dozen, 6 assists. And they get the victory. Brian Windhorst joins us now, and Wendy, though Denver got the victory, I want to ask you about Boston and Tatum's traveling with him. I'm interested in this thought. It seems clear he's coming back, unless it's all just a ruse for a documentary. How much runway do you feel like he needs to be not just playing, but the guy that could be a difference maker come playoff time?
Well, the first off, he's actually traveled with them all year. And it's not something you normally see from a player who's on a long-term injury. And he's focused. He's all year long, he's worked out alongside them, even when he was very much in the early stages of the recovery process. But that's an indication he didn't ever want to lose touch with the team. I think he's always, throughout the whole year, planned to come back. But if you want a timeline, you are not going to hear it from the Celtics or from Tatum's camp. What I will say is two things. One, we just saw a player return last night from an Achilles injury. DeJounte Murray came back to the Pelicans. He had not played for 13 months. Jason Tatum is not even at 10 months yet. So obviously the Pelicans and the Celtics have different set of circumstances, but the Pelicans haven't given up on this season. So that's 13 months versus 10 months, a player who thought he was ready. So I just want to keep that in mind. The second thing is, when Tatum needs to be really contributing, in my view, is the second round of the playoffs, okay? Because that's where the chips are going to be down. There are, in my eyes, 4 very good teams in the East, and there's a couple more teams that can see themselves getting to the conference finals. There's going to be 2 or 3 teams that don't make it to the conference finals that are going to have very disappointing seasons. You're going to have to be playing at a high level to get those second 4 playoff wins. That's when they're going to need Jason Tatum. I believe in this Celtics team that they can defend well enough. They can put together something to get to the second round. So when you think about the timeline, think about the first 2 weeks of May. That's when you need Tatum at fuller power. Don't worry about how he might look when he comes back his first couple of weeks.
I appreciate the distinction off the top, by the way. He's been with him all year. It's simply that we're paying attention now through a lens of, hey, might we see him soon? Right. And I'm with you. That second round is where, if you've suddenly got him, you're a team that's more talented than your second seed. Now, in terms of the West, the Thunder are still the Thunder. They still have this lead. Here come the Spurs. OKC's banged up. As things become more clear, again with an eye on the playoffs, how broad a lens are you using to look at the true contenders in the West?
Yeah, so I've had my hotel reservations booked for the finals in Oklahoma City for months now, okay? I have felt that they are the strong favorite to win the West. Scott, I have an announcement.
Okay.
I have made hotel reservations in San Antonio. And the reason is because there's a certain hotel I want, number one. I don't want you messing around. Secondly, Victor Wembanyama is so special, Okay, and my instincts of 23 years covering the NBA are a team that has never played in a playoff game together is not winning 12 playoff games in the Western Conference. That's what my instincts tell me. But then I watch Wemby-Vassell, and I watch how these guys defend, and I am taking the impossible off the table. The last time we saw a team go from having basically no playoff experience together to reaching the finals was the Shaq team in Orlando in the 90s. I was a kid. I was in high school. I watched it, the arena, all that stuff. In fact, I saw Brian Hill last night here in L.A. Shaquille O'Neal and Victor Wembanyama, that you may have a Shaquille O'Neal here. I don't know, but I'm not taking it off the table. And so I look at the Spurs very, very seriously. And they're right on the heels of the Thunder now because of all these injuries that the Thunder have. Thunder's still my number one. The other team is Denver because I think Denver, when they're together and at full power, have the ability that they can beat those 4 teams 4 out of 7. After that, I don't have anything. I don't even have a hotel in Denver yet.
No hotel,
but I respect their ability. No.
You might have just spoken into existence. My wife last year, a Florida alum, said, "Can I book a hotel in San Antonio?" I said, "Sure, why not?" This was before the tournament even started. And she was there on Riverwalk watching the Gators win. So who knows? Maybe you're speaking the Spurs into existence. I want to close with this, and you can laugh at me if the answer is no. But in our meeting, this conversation came up with SGA injured and this certain threshold you have to hit in terms of game played and postseason awards and things of that nature. Teams are managing this load with the eye on the playoffs. But do these conversations at all come up about giving guys enough games to hit these postseason award type numbers? Is that even at all a consideration?
They will not admit it, but their actions indicate yes. That over the last couple of years, there are players, and sometimes they've gone above and beyond what they prefer to do and then still don't get the threshold. But the NBA has watched this, and they think the 65-game rule does work and does bring star players into games where it otherwise would be 50-50. It tips the scales. I agree that the MVP race has a potential to get very sloppy because of that rule. But I think the NBA likes it, and I think the actions indicate that it's working.
All right, good. I wouldn't have been surprised if you said no, but I actually am happy to hear that you say, yeah, the actions suggest otherwise. Brian, as always, the time appreciated. Look forward to the next time. MVP,
and you go 5 of 26 with 5 fouls and 3 turnovers in that big game against San Antonio. You're on your home floor. Excuse me. Cade Cunningham has a big game, and Detroit covers.
Yeah, we just saw that graphic, and Larry, you said how bad they've been on the second leg of a back-to-back. 1-8 against the spread, second leg back-to-back this OKC squad has, and now everybody's hurt, so that doesn't help. The team in charge of closing that gap in the West is the Spurs, as you guys know. 9 straight wins for them, now just 3 games back. They're a road favorite in Toronto. The Raptors on the second night of a back-to-back as well, with that loss to the Thunder last night. Scotty Barnes officially listed in for this game. How you betting it, Larry?
I'm going to look under the total. I think Scotty Barnes and the rest of the Raptors are going to have a tough time scoring against San Antonio, which is playing lockdown defense, just held the Pistons to 38% overall and only 7 3-pointers out of 36 from deep. So this Spurs team and the Raptors are both top 6 in defense. Both teams are top 6 in terms of cashing the under. And with the second night of a back-to-back for Toronto, I don't think they're going to want to get up and down and try to run with the Spurs. This is going to be a grinder, and it stays under the total.
Well, one player I want to do well, Larry, is going to be Brandon Ingram of Toronto. I'm going to go over 20.5 points. He's been energized post-All-Star break. 2 out of the 3 games, he's had 22 points or more. And when it comes to playing in the second night of a back-to-back spot, this is where Ingram has excelled on the season. You see on the graphic there, 37 points against Cleveland. That was a season high. More recently against the Chicago Bulls, 33 points. Those are his second and highest points scored on the season this year. And we touched on San Antonio. They got the big win against Detroit on Monday, 9 straight wins. But I think they're going to have an issue defensively tonight because this is the second game of a 5-game East Coast road trip. Their only East Coast road trip of this season. So I like Ingram tonight to clear his points prop over 20.5.
Yep, but we've seen a volume increase as well for him, so I like that over. Zach Timoney, Larry Hartstein, appreciate you guys. Oh, on the line wager, just kidding. Don't go anywhere. Zach, your favorite bet on the board.
Yeah, it's going to be Brandon Ingram. I posted this on the Sportsline site at 21.5. Lost a point on that because Scotty Barnes is ruled available. But I do think Brandon Ingram continues that trend of excelling in the second night of a back-to-back spot. And in yesterday's game against OKC, he scored just 15 points, took a backseat to Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes. I think he steps up his game tonight and clears 20.5 points.
And Zach, I posted mine on the Sportsline site this morning. Cam Johnson over on his points for the Nuggets against what has to be a tired Boston Celtics team. I got this at 10.5. I will still play the current number over 11.5 because Cam Johnson is in the starting lineup for the Nuggets. Played 38 minutes last time out. And what struck me is he didn't make a three-pointer. This is a sharpshooter who hits 42% from deep. And in fact, he had gone 22 straight games making at least 1 3. He's coming off a game where he went 0 for 4 from deep. He's playing a Celtics team